Hey gang, I want to introduce you to a new lesson series I wanted to do that I call Playing the Right Notes, and it's about learning the fretboard easily, comfortably, and fairly comprehensively for both chords and single note soloing. Um, it's really about knowing the fretboard and knowing when to play various things. So that's what it's kind of about. Now, I would never ever claim that this is the only system or it's the perfect system or anything like that, but it's going to allow you to play pop, rock, blues, and even basic jazz. Again, handling a lot of things. Now, it's based on two things, two notions. One is chord tone soloing. So instead of playing a scale, taking a scalar approach, we're going to approach things based on the chord tones, the tones that are in, literally the notes that are in the chords that are being played. And those notes are going to all sound good. The second thing is we're going to base it on something called, you've probably heard this already, the caged system. Now, one of the things, I'm a big proponent of the caged system, always have been, but one of the problems with the caged system is that the chords are not movable. Some of the chords are not very movable and easily used. So we want to focus on getting chords that are easily moved. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is that this is based on something that the great Joe Pass, if you don't know who Joe Pass is, please look him up right away and listen to his stuff. He's one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived. But anyway, Joe Pass talked about harmony and said there's basically three chords: majors, minors, and sevenths, or dominants. And everything else is just kind of a variation on those various things, or on those types of chords. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on, you got it, those three types of chords using caged, and we're going to learn it all the way up and down the neck, so there's no gaps whatsoever. And so I call it caged cubed, because we're doing it for majors, we're doing it for minors, and we're doing it for sevenths. Now, we'll cover not only the caged chords, but we'll cover pentatonic modes that are come out of all those different things. So we're going to use a lot of things that you probably already know. All right, so this is going to go on for a bit. This is going to be a series that's going to take a while, but I'm going to try and keep it relatively, each part relatively simple and relatively short, so that we can get through it quickly. All right, so we're going to get started right now, and I'm going to show you all the caged chords, not all the way up and down the neck, but in the first position. And stick around to the end, because when we get to the end, I'll talk about what's coming next. Okay? We'll see you in just a second. Let's go over the caged chords in first position. Majors, minors, and sevenths in that order. So there's 5 majors, 5 minors, 5 sevenths. That makes 15 chords. Of those 15, you'll probably recognize maybe 10 or 12 of them. But I would advise you downloading the chord diagrams in any event, because that way you'll remove all doubt, and if you can't really see what's going on with my fingers, then that'll help. Okay, so let's go through the majors first. Here are the major caged chords. The C shape, probably very familiar with that one. The A shape, or like this. You can finger that in multiple ways. The G shape, again, very common chord. The E shape, very useful chord, and the D shape. All right, so those are the caged majors. And like I was saying before, what we're going to do is we're going to find, in the next lesson, we're going to find all usable chords for those. Some of them don't lend themselves very easily to move up the neck, like the E shape does. But the D shape, or the G shape, doesn't. It's not an easy chord to play, so we usually don't do it. We'll find better ones next time around. All right, let's go over the minors now. Now we start out with one that's actually pretty uncommonly played, and it's the C shape. I'll explain that just a little bit more. C is played on the root note on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and then we've got on the 4th string, we've got the 1st fret, 3rd string open, 1st string, 1st fret. That's a hard one to finger, so that's no wonder that people don't usually use it. But we'll use a fragment of it and make it movable. Okay, that's the C shape. Here's the A shape. All right, very common one. I'm sure you know it. The G shape. That one's actually movable, but it's not usually played. I don't know why people don't do it, but that's what it is. We've got the open 4th string and then 3, 3, 3 on the 3, 2, and 1 strings. All right, now the E shape. Common chord. And the D shape, finally. Another common chord. All right. Now let's take a look at the 7ths. The 7ths are cool and very often used. So here's the C. I'm guessing you know that one. All right, that's the C. Here's the A. Another common one. The flatted 7th is on the 3rd string. It's that open G. That's the A shape. Here's the G shape. This time it's the same as the A, except I'm adding the flatted 7th on the top instead of on the 3rd string, on the 1st string instead of the 3rd string. That's the G. Here's the E. And finally, here's the D. All right. So hopefully you know some of those. If you don't, download the chord diagram. And now let's round it up by talking a little bit about what we're going to see next time. Okay, gang. Well, that was the caged chords, and in the first position. And where we're going next is we're going to cover the major caged chords in all up and down the neck, and in all usable forms. And we're going to cover the major modes that come out of those things. So every time you see that chord, you're going to be able to play the notes. You're going to be able to play the chord, but you're going to also be able to play the notes. So I hope you stick around for the next one. Would really love to hear all of your comments and feedback on whether this is something you think is worthwhile or not. And I hope that it is, because it's something that I think is really going to help you. It helps me a lot, and continues to. All right, until next time, we'll see you on down the road.